Welcome to my channel. Today is March 2nd, Thursday, 2023. As usual, there's a lot of angst going on inside. Whenever I start a video, I never really know what's going to come out. I don't script anything. I just know that there is a big, for lack of a better description, a big transformation that is in process. And Spirit is trying to come through, or they want to come through. Not that they're trying to, but for me, this process is about trust. Trusting the information, trusting that okay, so we'll back up a little bit. When I started doing readings, I didn't really understand what an empath is. And I did not understand that the anxiety that I was feeling, or the stress, or whatever it is that I was feeling at the time, I didn't really understand that part of that was coming from the person that I was doing the reading for. And that the way that I felt was part of the reading. I used 2 decks of cards at the time. One to describe what was happening on the outside of a person's life, one that to describe what was happening on the inside of a person's life. In their spirit, in their emotions, all of that. Today, that's not really required. So, and I don't require tools to read, because I read energy, I tune into the person, and I feel what it is that's happening with them. And then first it starts as a feeling, then I start seeing pictures, and then I start hearing what the pictures are about. So it starts as an empath response, then it goes to clairvoyance, and then it goes to clairaudience, and then it's like a film starts rolling. And I just talk about what's happening in the film. Spirit comes through a lot. Sometimes I get moved out of the way. I feel like I'm like kind of sitting back here somewhere, and they just come through. When I've done like 15-minute readings or a half hour, that's not really completely possible, because there's a time limit. With this, I never really know what's going to happen, and that makes me nervous. But I've been doing readings for 30 years now, and that has been the process all along, is to trust the information that's coming through, to trust the information is going to be correct, to trust that Spirit has my back, right? That's how it is. And so this is my process, and it's kind of a teaching moment for people to understand that it is part of their process too if they're watching this and learning, if they're new to doing readings, things like that, to understand what it is that's going on, to what's happening in our body at the time, right? And I have all this angst that sits inside of me because that just is really about this information trying to flow, and then me, my personality, trying to hold it back. So that's what all of that is. And when I allow it to just flow, then that doesn't happen. It just goes on its own, and they come through, spirit comes through. And I refer to them as excuse me, I refer to them as the collective. Right? Sometimes they will be a particular entity that wants to come through, a particular aspect of the collective. When I do mediumship, then the person that I'm doing reading for, some of their relatives will come through, things like that. So I was having this whole experience happening, right? And I guess you would call it spirit wanting to deliver a message, but I think that part of it is about them wanting to deliver a message, and part of them is wanting to help teach me that it's going to be okay. So, there are people who channel. There's Esther Hicks who channels Abraham. There's the person that was channeling Seth. There's, different people, right? They, I've been watching videos, and there are people who channel the council. You call them different things. And there's usually somebody that is there to ask questions of the person. And then the person that would be in my position would be responding to the questions. So I was having conversation with the people. I refer to them all as people. God, goddess, like whoever, the divine beings, I refer to them all as like the people. It's just easier that way for me. I was having conversation with them before this video and asking them about that. And I was told, well, you have questions, which I do. I'm always questioning the nature of the universe. I'm always questioning what's out there, what's beyond, what's it all about? Are these things fact or fiction? I've never seen, like a heaven, like you would talk about in terms of, the pearly gates and all of that kind of thing, people on clouds and stuff. I've never seen any of that. I've seen people who are on the other side, and sometimes I've seen them in what I refer to as being in stasis. It's like they would just sort of be laying there, and so my understanding at the time was that you know how they talk about, you know, you have to go before like St. Peter or whoever it is that's at the gate and kind of talk about what it is that you did while you were here and all of this, and you know, the judgment thing, and all of that. And that was never my experience. My experience was that yes, we did come here in this, in the flesh, to this realm, to this planet, to do certain things. And so then it was like, well, what did you accomplish here, right? But it's like, it's something that you have to kind of decide for yourself. Did you accomplish what you came here to do? What did you learn? What did you do that was like right or wrong or whatever? And not so much about karma, but um just, you know, and because there is no real thing as time, that process can be, it can be a day, it can be years, it can be, you know, decades, whatever. um this, I was told, I wasn't taught by the spiritualist church, but I was told by people that were associated with the spiritualist church that when somebody passes over, that we shouldn't be contacting them for a year, because that gives the person that's on this planet time to grieve and go through our process, and then it gives the person who passed over, it gives them time to go through their process. So things evolve. In my experience is that you will see the other side in the way that you would have an understanding of it. So if you believe in heaven and you are somebody that is a medium or whatever it is that you would like to call this process, then you may very well see it in that form, right? But if you're not Catholic and you don't really believe in heaven, then, you know, or that type of heaven, then you probably won't see it in that way, right? It's like you have to be of your own understanding and open, which I am. I'm open to, yeah, and I have been. I think that my um, my path, I don't want to call it my job, but my path is to become more open. And the more open I am, the more the more real the experiences will be. And because I am open to this way, I have had entities come from like other dimensions. I've had angels come through. I've had, which was a whole thing by itself, because I used to work at a place and we would have to do tea leaf readings, and in the tea leaf readings you'd see like angels and the tea and stuff, and I'm like, you know what? I had conversation with them, the angels afterwards, and I was like, you know what? I have never seen you, right? I have never seen an angel. I have never experienced them. They have never come through and talked to me. So, you know what? If you exist, then you're going to have to reveal yourself to me, because if you don't, I'm not going to talk about you anymore. So I will refer to this as the things that I'm seeing in the tea leaves. I will refer to them as something else. So had that conversation. And then a while later, I was working at this place, a different place, and now part of my spirituality is that I um, I'm a witch. So we do our rituals and we do what we do, right? And just not about Satan or anything like that. That's a bunch of BS. Um, but I ended up working during Halloween season at this angel store, which was weird because I had forgot about that conversation. And I'm sitting out front. I was on a break and I was sitting out front, and then there were 4 angels, 3 stories tall. I'm just sitting there minding my own business on this bench, and there are these 4 angels there. And I cannot say that they were Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, Raphael, because they did not identify as such. Eventually, I did have communication with the Archangel Raphael, because I do believe that I came to this planet to be a healer. I do Reiki, I do readings, and therefore like helping people in that way. And sometimes I refer to myself as psychic, sometimes I refer to myself as a messenger. Lately, I'm like, am I an oracle? Like, what does that mean, right? And I don't necessarily know that there has to be an actual term for what it is that we do, because I just allow the higher entities to come through, and then the conversation happens, whatever's going to happen. Let me just do that. So, in the process of being connected to that, the last video that I did is called The Journey to Joy. And in this process of being connected to spirit, there's definitely been a lot of healing that has taken place. I've been led to different places, different avenues. I was going to a Buddhist temple for a while and going there and learning mantras and chanting. It really helped me with a lot of anger issues that I had going on, and it has helped resolve a lot of internal sort of like turmoil going on, and therapy, and doing Reiki on myself and getting massage and talking to other psychics and all of this. It's definitely a journey. It's definitely a path to be more open and being able to receive and allow my chakras to be open and aligned. And that is really where I am at these days, is trying to be as open and aligned to spirit as much as possible, to receive as high a vibration of an entity that can come through as possible. So and I have really let go of a lot of anger and a lot of resentments and a lot of judgment. And I think as humans, that's just kind of who we are, is that we can be judgmental about things. And so I've definitely let go of a lot less. But every time we make a decision about something, who we're going to hang out with, where we're going to go, are we going to go to this place or not this place, whatever. Every time we make that decision, that is a judgment. So I don't think that we can really get away from that, but it's definitely a process. In my journey towards joy, to have joy within myself, to have joy on the planet, to have my heart be open, I have been able to see people who have their anger issues, and to be able to see myself with my anger issues as being in pain, as trying to sort things out within inside, and trying to find expression for the pain, and learning how to let people in, and getting close to people, and all of this kind of stuff. So the more I am able to let down the walls, the more I'm able to have this joy in my life. And the Buddhists talk about compassion, and part of my process has been learning to leave people alone. I don't have Facebook anymore. I don't have Instagram anymore. I don't have Twitter. There are too many things going on there that you can get involved in politics and people's emotional turmoil. And it's really hard to have discussion online like that, because people don't understand how you're coming across. They can't hear the inflection. They can't, they don't know you. They're judging what it is that you're saying based on their experience, not who you are. So I have to be really careful about, how I'm interacting. So I decided to let go of all of that. And it allows my path to be more, the word that comes into my head is more singular, more focused. And as I am more focused, it allows me to be more one with spirit, which is what my intention is. So the next part of this conversation is that when I started doing this, when I started going into this whole thing about learning to be a psychic and all this, I wanted to learn so that I could know about myself. It doesn't work that way. We all have our own spirit guides, and so that is a thing, and they do help me on my path. However, if you're working as a psychic, it is not about you. It's not about me. My job is to guide other people on their path, not to micromanage their life. Some people want you to micromanage their life. That is not my job. My job is to tell people what I see and to help them to navigate their life and all that. So I do what I can do. I tell people what I see. I was told a long time ago that people pay me to tell them what I see, not what they want to hear, because it's not always going to be what they want to hear. And sometimes I get information and I don't know what I'm talking about because the information isn't for me, it's for the other person. It's for the person I'm doing the reading for. So they are a participant in this journey, they're a participant in the reading. And so I can tell you what I think that it means based on the readings I've done before. However, ultimately, it's your life and it has to make sense to you. So, we'll see how that's going to go. So we'll see what it is that's going to happen for right now. Because we'll see if they are wanting to come through. I'm hearing the name Joseph. Joseph. But I have a feeling that that is probably somebody who is out listening to this message. So if there is somebody out there by that name, or when they show up, you want to say welcome. We are reaching through to the higher realms. To beings across time and space. And when we say across time and space, we mean that it has taken a lot of time for them to be able to communicate with us in a way that we are able to receive their words, because they could talk to us before, but we did not really have an understanding about what was being said to us, or our vibration was not in a place where we could hear them based on the frequency. As somebody that receives messages, we have to be at a particular frequency. This is what you would talk about in terms of being at a higher vibration. People talk about we want to raise our vibration. And what does that even mean? We have had to learn to evolve as a species to even understand that there were beings, entities, you might want to call them light beings, you might want to call them aliens, you might want, whatever it is that you want to call them, we are all connected. It has all been a cycle of evolution. And we all come from the same seed, no matter where we are in the universe. Whether you call it the Big Bang, whatever it is you call that starting point, that seed, we may have evolved into different beings the same way that if you plant a pumpkin seed, you're going to get a pumpkin. If you plant an apple seed, you're going to get an apple tree. So depending where the seed was planted, wherever it sprouted, this universe, the Big Bang, it sprouted here. However, in other places, there were other seeds that sprouted, other races on other planets, other entities, other beings, other dimensions. The seeds that sprouted brought forth other entities, other beings. But it all came from the same place. It all came from a thought form, something that was required. The universe asked for something to come into being, and we came forth from that. We're all here to grow, to expand, to learn from one another, to learn that we are connected. We are all the same on some level. We are all different aspects. We are all different aspects of the same. We are all doing different things. However, we are all the same. This planet is in we don't want to say the beginning, because this is not the beginning. This is simply a place in a cycle of evolution. However, we on this planet, the people that are here, the humans, the beasts, we who are here, we are in this cycle of evolution. And the same way that this planet went through an ice age, through the Bronze Age, through the Dark Age through the age of science, through whatever age you want to call it. We are on the verge of a new age. When you do readings, if you're using tarot, there is a card called the Tower. This being calls a tower a tearing down in order to rebuild. It is not necessarily a negative. It can be a difficult process. It is the foundation being torn away. The level of violence that has existed on this planet, the level of physical violence, is coming to an end. This planet is on the verge of, we would call it new industry, new types of buildings, new power sources, new ways of building, new forms of construction, new ways of interacting, new forms of communication with distant galaxies, with different kinds of travel. We can talk about this in terms of over the next century. However, this planet is evolving exponentially. It is not evolving just creeping along. It is not simply step by step. You now have people who are building rockets or their own space travel as opposed to just a government. There are people who are gaining enough of their own money, finances, their own ideas about exploration that are not being limited by a government. There will be more of this happening. There will be different kinds of personal travel around the planet, not just about airplanes, because there's going to be new forms of fuel that is taking place. There are people who want to have less of a carbon footprint, as you call it. More green energy. People will be able to travel on their own. They will not require agencies airlines, things of that nature. It won't be the same as we're getting reference of the Jetsons, it won't be like that. However, it won't be the sky filled with air travel. However, there will be people who will be able to have their own modes of transportation through the air. As we're proceeding, the governments on this planet, the countries, the borders, all of this division, that is going to become much less division. It is a matter of time before this is taking place. There will be we don't know if the word is intermediary. There will be mediators to help facilitate this process. When we talk about we being here, we are people who are traveling around this planet, however, not in a physical form that you would understand. We do not really require a physical form in the same manner. We have evolved beyond that. We do not require physical form the same way that humans do. As this planet evolves, as the human race evolves, as your vision, you can call it your third eye, as your vision evolves, we will be able to be seen by more. Eventually, we will be seen by everybody, but that will take time. This planet is not ready to evolve beyond requirement for a physical form. That is going to take, we only know this term eons. It depends on the people who are here and how their connection to higher vibrations evolve. We don't really have language for that. Not in ways that the people on this planet would understand. There is not a translation for that. There are questions about what happens when people pass over. There is an understanding that there is no death, that the soul, that the spirit moves on. The physical body is no longer required. However, the spirit still is there, and the spirit is still around you. The spirit evolves, the spirit joins what you would refer to as other non-physical entities, whether you call them angels, whether you call them spirit guides, whether you call them the dearly departed, they are there. And on this side, there is no judgment. There is joy. When you go to a medium and you are looking to connect to somebody that has passed over, the medium may talk to you about that person from the personality that you would recognize. And that comes through only because of your limited belief. You believe, the person who is asking the questions, you believe that that person must maintain that personality that they are on this planet with. That is not true. Once they are on the other side of the veil, as you would call it, these terms are very archaic. Because the spirit is in this body, in this physical body, on this planet. And that body has to interact with other bodies that are containing this spirit, and they have to have this way based on their brain in this archaic form of communication. You might call it being dumbed down. Once there is no longer this shell, this flesh, and the spirit leaves this body, it no longer has this brain, this constraint, this constraint of communication. We operate telepathically, we exude emotions, the auras are different. We communicate by color. There are many different formats of like communication. So if somebody was here in this planet, on this planet, and when they left this physical form, it doesn't matter if they died in their sleep in peace. It does not matter if they were murdered, if it was a horrible death. It does not matter if they passed away as a baby. It is all the same. They go back to non-physical, they go back to their spiritual essence. There is no judgment about how they passed. There is only judgment because of this physical form, because of this limited way of communication. So we can feel your frustration in this communication form. And we think that this is one of the reasons why there is so much anger on this planet and so many battles amongst people, because the communication system, the way that people communicate, there are secrets, there's competition, there is all of this stuff that is really not required. And there is this scarcity mentality, thinking that I have to have this and you have that, and how come you have that much, I have this much. It really does not have to be that way. But this planet has not yet evolved to a place where everybody on the planet is understanding that we are all connected. When that starts happening in mass consciousness, then a lot of these arguments, a lot of this hoarding, a lot of this pain will subside. We hear you talking about, as we're saying this, we can hear you talking about, well, is this going to be some form of utopia? We don't know that it would be considered utopia in your eyes, in your experience. We know that it will be different. We know that there will be less arguments. We know that there will be still ways to evolve. Just because the level of violence or the type of violence has lessened or in many cases subsided. Does not necessarily mean less, or, well, we would say less competition. We would not say zero competition. There is still this, there's still these human minds that are trying to communicate with each other, that are not trusting of each other. Because as long as you have this mind, this brain, you're able to have secrets. And as long as there are secrets, there's going to be trouble. Because we no longer require a physical form, we have no secrets. So we do not have that programming is the word. Humans have this programming about secrets, about competition, about all of this. It's a very low vibration. However, this is why humans are seeking a higher vibration, to be more connected with source energy, to be connected with like the one. We are all the one. We do believe in this thing that you would call the law of attraction. Humans ask for something and it becomes manifest because all of the beings, all of the entities that are here are helping you to bring it into physical form. There is not necessarily like one entity that you would call God. There is not one being that sits on some throne somewhere that is controlling or manipulating or pulling strings. We would say to you that if that entity existed, we don't have a time measurement for that beyond eons, beyond eons, beyond eons, beyond, because there are entities that are at that same level, and we're all part of the same. We're all connected. We are all one. We're all in on it, is the way that we want to describe it. We are all in on creation. We are all here to expanding mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to expand our knowledge base, to expand all of it. We are here to create. We're here to do all of that. And if the human race could be at peace, things would go so much smoother. It is this necessity. It is this necessity for competition. This thing that is I am. This separateness. The more people want to experience separateness, it's all about me. It is, this is mine, that's yours. That is the thing that is creating the most pain. So, as you evolve, as you are letting go, of all of that concept, and it is going to take time. However, as that is going on, there will be more freedom, there will be more peace, there will be more joy. And so with that, we leave you in peace for now. Thank you. Well, that felt interesting. I hope you enjoyed the video, the message. Like and subscribe, as they say. I require apparently 50 followers, which I don't have at this present time, but I require 50 followers in order to go live. We'll see. For me, personally, this is not really about how many followers. It is whoever it is that receives the message and gets something out of the message, then that is sufficient. In a way, this is also documenting. It is a way of documenting my journey, and it is a way to allow Spirit to bring through messages for whoever is available to listen. When I do readings for people, it is not about the money. I put the message out there. Whoever it is that is looking for a message that is able to come through me, through this physical being, then let them find me. Most of it is word of mouth. I do have a website. It is edward13.com. So you can find me there. You can find access if you're looking for readings, stuff like that. That is on that page. So good luck in your journey, and we hope that you find joy. Thank you.